thank you for joining my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about self-publishing for new writers, things that you need to know about the real costs, where you need to put your manuscript when you're done your novel, and tips on dealing with different editors and what to expect. So let's jump right in. So self-publishing is really simple, it's free, it's fun. Not necessarily. Self-publishing takes a while, especially if you want to put out your best work. And as a writer, you care about your craft, you want to work with professionals. Normally, writers work with developmental editors, they work with copy editors, and they work with proofreaders. Now, these editors can range from $5,000 to $10,000. Some people have actually gone up to $20,000. These editors will cost about $50 an hour. If that's sounding like that's a little bit too much, there's the budget way of doing things, and that's where you can buy software to assist you. It'll probably total about $75. You'll need Google Docs, you'll need Word. You definitely have to have your computer to assist you. And if this is starting to sound like it's a little bit too much, then writing may be the wrong business for you. Another thing that you can do if you can't do these professional editors is to go to a university, hire someone from the editorial department, an English major, to look over your work, give them $200 or $300. Is it going to be your best work that they give back? I'm not sure, but I would suggest that you look over it to make sure that they really did a good job editing your work, as well as working with proofreaders. I've worked with proofreaders, actually they're really called beta readers, and what they do is they look at your work, they tell you if there's a lot of grammatical issues, the characters, if they're strong, if things are flowing. And normally you would ask people to be a beta reader who are your friends, who are your colleagues, family. I mean, they're just going to tell you what's going on with that book and changes that you may choose to make or may not make. So let's jump into what these editors actually do. There's the developmental editor that will look at the big picture of your book and the direction that it's going in. There's the copy editor that's going to come in and look at every single sentence and figure out if you used the best word choice. So if you decided to use happy in a sentence and they think elated is a little bit more of a page turner, then that's what they're going to suggest. And I would say you need to work with a developmental editor before you work with any other editor, because a developmental editor might come in and scratch a couple of chapters, and why go to a copy editor that's going to dissect all of these words and now these chapters no longer to exist. So definitely think about that. The proofreader is the one that comes in and deals with the grammatical errors, the typos. So you definitely need to work with a proofreader. Again, this is going to be steep. It's going to cost some money, so you definitely want to save up. Or if you can't go that route, you can do a crowdfund or continue on with something that's more along a budget that you can do. Now, a conversation that you're going to have with an editor when you're ready to hire one is you want to get as much information before you decide if that's the editor for you. So it'll go something like, hey, my name is Nadia, I write romance novels. What do you do? If they say they specialize in sci-fi, most likely they are not the right editor for you, because the way you write sci-fi and the way you write a novel are completely different. So definitely get that out of the way as soon as you speak to an editor. You definitely want to know what style they're going to be using, if they'll be Chicago Manual, which is pretty popular, if they'll be editing it in British style or in English style. You definitely want to know if you can get a sample edit, which is really important because you want to see if you like this person's style. You want to get testimonials. Anybody can say that they're like this great editor and can charge you a ridiculous amount. but you want to see what other people have said about them. You want to know who they've worked on, so definitely, or worked with, so definitely you want to do kind of like a background check on them, see if they've worked with best-selling authors. If they have, you're definitely going to pay a lot more money. But if they've worked with authors who are doing pretty well in the publishing game, definitely that's someone that, you know, you're going to want to work with. You definitely want to find out when you're going to get your work back, because if they're like super busy and it's going to take them 6 months to a year to give you your work, then that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So again, feel them out. Understand that there are so many editors, so if you have a certain budget, if they don't meet that criteria, definitely don't feel pressured into choosing them. There's so many editors out there and there's not any set rate. So definitely shop around, feel free to negotiate, and definitely get someone that you have a good relationship with, because you're going to be working with them a lot. So once you've done that, it's time to do the book design, which is like my favorite. If you want to do the book design on more of the budget-friendly route, you can do it yourself. You can go into Photoshop on your computer, just follow the instructions, and, you know, get a picture together. It's going to take some time, and you want to get a pretty good cover picture for your book. So definitely take your time with that. If you can't do that, you can get your cousin Harry to do it. If he's like really good at, you know, drawing pictures, you can tell him what it is that you're looking for. Or you can go to websites like 99 Designs or Book Designs. The really great thing about them is they already have pictures of book designs already on the website from different genres, so you just pick what complements your style and voila. And I don't know, it could cost you between $50, $75, $100. You just, you know, find out if that book design is available. Moving into working with a company, that's going to cost you about $500. And the fun thing about that is you can go to Amazon and just browse around and look at the different book covers. You can go to your local bookstore like I did, or you can go to the library and just sit there and take pictures of things that you think complement your book style. Then you can go back to this designer, have a conversation with them. He comes back and he gives you some examples, and then you pick out which one works for you. I think this is definitely worth an investment, because your book cover is your first impression. So if your first impression flops, people won't even take the time to read the book. And when you're on Amazon and Creative Space, you're going to have to hold your own, because you're going to be up against best-selling authors and you're a new author. So definitely take that book cover into consideration. And last, you want a physical copy of your book. You've slaved over your book. You spent so much time on it. You want to see what your book looks like. You want to feel it in your hands. Another great thing about that is, you know, you've only looked at your book from the computer perspective or possibly on paper. Now you have the physical book. You can actually take the time to read over it. You may see some grammatical errors. You may see some changes now that it's in a physical form that you may have not seen. Guys, sorry for the noise in the background, but that you didn't see from the manuscript version, or that you didn't see from the computer. And I would definitely do that before getting an editor as well, especially if you know that more revisions may possibly be made. So guys, that is self-publishing made easy. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have anything to say, please comment below any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.